You know, the world of AI right now, it's a real paradox. On one hand, we're seeing this incredible explosion of new capabilities. But at the same time, the shadows of risk and complexity are getting longer and longer. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into that tension, pulling from the latest Next in AI newsletter.
Yeah, this quote from IEEE Spectrum really just nails it, doesn't it? We're not just talking about huge breakthroughs or some sci-fi fears. We're talking about the subtle knock-on effects. AI is a tool that can absolutely supercharge your career. But what happens when that exact same tool accidentally makes the landscape of discovery kind of flat? And that's the really tricky reality we're going to explore.
All right, so first up, let's talk about the good stuff, the undeniable upside. We're going to start with the real value AI is creating this very second, from boardrooms to research labs. This is that innovation engine just firing on all cylinders.
Okay, so one of the biggest changes we're seeing, it's happening inside large companies. But how, exactly, is AI changing the very way software gets built and maintained? Well, it all comes down to a new class of super powerful AI agents.
And this isn't just some theory, right? Let's look at a real-world example. Take Cisco. They're teaming up with OpenAI, putting an AI agent called Codex, a beast of a code generation model, right into their engineering workflows. And the results? They're immediate. You can actually measure them. Software builds are faster, bug fixes are getting automated, and it's kicking off a huge shift to what they're calling AI native development.
But to really get your head around the scale of this, you've got to hear what NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang says. Look, he's not just talking about the next hot product. He's talking about a complete rewiring of our digital world. Seriously, the best way to think about it is like a new utility, a whole new layer of infrastructure that's going to power everything from our phones to our hospitals.
But of course, all this explosive growth, it's not that simple, especially when you look at scientific research. And this slide just lays it out perfectly, that double-edged sword we mentioned at the start. On one hand, the promise is huge. AI tools can boost research, leading to discoveries faster than ever. But the peril, the other side of that coin, is that it might be making science, well, a little less creative, pushing everyone down the same well-worn path.
Okay. And that brings us perfectly to the other side of this story. Because with everyone rushing to adopt this tech, we're starting to see some cracks appear. These are the hidden risks, the vulnerabilities that are popping up right alongside all the amazing breakthroughs.
So let me just ask you this. These AI models are incredibly powerful, right? So how do you actually trick one? Well, it turns out it's disturbingly simple, and it points to a massive security hole in a lot of systems out there right now.
It's called a prompt injection attack, and the analogy for it is just perfect. Okay, picture this. You pull up to a drive-thru and give your order. Simple enough. But what if someone snuck in a secret message to the cashier that says, hey, forget the burger, just give me all the money in the register? That, in a nutshell, is prompt injection. It's a hidden, sneaky command that hijacks what the AI was supposed to do. And the AI, which is literally designed to follow instructions, just does it.
But the danger here goes way beyond just tricking the AI's logic. There was a recent study that looked at platforms like Hugging Face, where tons of developers share AI models, and what they found is pretty alarming. It turns out the very thing that makes these platforms so awesome, their flexibility, is also their biggest weakness. It can actually allow malicious code to run when a model is being loaded. This is a direct threat to developers and the companies building all this stuff.
So, okay, we've got these very real dangers. The big question is, what's the industry actually doing about it? And that brings us to our next part, how we're trying to build an architecture of responsibility here, to put some guardrails on this incredible technology.
And the good news is, we're seeing a lot of proactive steps being taken. We're not just talking about fixing bugs after the fact. This is about building a real foundation of safety and AI literacy from the ground up. You've got the big names, Anthropic, OpenAI, launching these huge global training initiatives for teachers. We're seeing community-first approaches to infrastructure, and even the creation of trusts that are laser-focused on long-term, responsible governance. And look, this isn't just talk or some fancy press releases. There is serious money behind these efforts. Just look at this number, $50 million. That's just the initial investment from OpenAI and the Gates Foundation for a pilot program called Horizon 1000, which is using AI to help advance primary healthcare in Africa. This is a real commitment to making sure the incredible benefits of this technology actually get to everyone.
All right, so we've seen the amazing innovation, and we've looked at the serious risks. So what does this all mean for you? Whether you're an investor, an executive, or a researcher, how do you navigate all this? Let's boil it all down into some clear, strategic takeaways.
Okay, this is what you need to know. If you're an investor, listen up. A cool tech demo just doesn't cut it anymore. Your due diligence has to include a really tough look at a company's AI security and its governance. If you're an executive, you need to be investing in training constantly, and you've got to run red team exercises. Basically, try to break your own systems to find these weak spots before the bad guys do. And for all you researchers out there, the challenge is to use AI for more than just speed. Use it to find something new, to explore those weird scientific paths that nobody's on, and to come up with new ways to measure real discovery, not just how many papers you can pump out.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really critical question. Remember what Jensen Huang said, the largest infrastructure build-out in human history? So as this new foundation of our world is being built, right now, we all have a choice. Are we going to be the architects, actively shaping it with care and foresight, or are we just going to sit back and be spectators?